Alrighty, so I think we are good to go. We are streaming on YouTube as well. And we have Captain AJ is back. So Captain AJ is here and Michael. So Michael will be reading our YouTube questions for us, and then Captain AJ will be taking the ones in the chat as usual. So we are starting here time. Yeah, that is YouTube right there. All right, welcome everyone. You are welcome once again. We just started recording and we are also transmitting on YouTube. I appreciate everybody's time. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this chat every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And like I always say, on Friday nights, you could be anywhere, but you chose to be here. And as usual, we are going to make it worth your time. So I promise you're going to learn something new. You are going to learn something that you can add to your body of knowledge that you have already as a security professional or as an aspiring security professional. So you are welcome once again for anyone who is new. Welcome to the Eretmis family. We do this every Friday. So you are invited to join our future sessions as well. So we are getting started here whilst we are still allowing people in to the chat. And today's topic is the effect of ChatGPT on cybersecurity. And we will kind of do a quick overview of AI and how, ChatGPT came about. And we will jump into the application of ChatGPT for security. Okay, so that is going to be an interesting conversation, and you are invited to chime in if you've been using ChatGPT for a while, or you've been testing it out like everybody else has been doing. You can always, add to whatever we are discussing. Feel free. And for if you want to contribute or you want to ask a question, you can either put it in the chat or you can raise your virtual hand and we will give you the floor. Okay, so we are starting here shortly, but we still have a lot of people coming in. That is why we are kind of slowing down a little. But let's begin. We'll still have people coming in. All right, welcome. Once again, we are beginning time now. Like I said earlier, this is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you are welcome to join us every Friday. We do this to educate the community on cybersecurity topics. And today's topic, we are looking at ChatGPT and the effect it has on security, good or bad or indifferent. You are welcome to Eretmis Academy. This is held by Eretmis Academy. This program is held by Eretmis Academy. And about myself, I'm going to be your speaker today with Captain AJ and Michael being my co-pilots with questions and other inquiries that might come up. So I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I used to be a captain in the United States Army. Captain AJ is still on active duty. I'm no more on active duty. And I also used to be a professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC, that is Central Texas College. I'm the founder of Eretmis Academy and Eretmis Inc. Eretmis Inc. is a cybersecurity consulting firm. It's a QSA company based in New York. Eretmis Academy is an academy that came out of our cybersecurity consulting firm. And the goal is to help educate cybersecurity professionals or aspiring cybersecurity professionals to become the best security professionals that they can ever be. Okay, so you are welcome. This is home for anybody who wants to learn and improve themselves, get better at what they do, or be able to break into the cybersecurity field. Okay, so today's topic, like I said, is going to be about ChatGPT. I know a lot of you might have heard about ChatGPT, because it has been trending for a while, and we are going to look at the use of ChatGPT as it pertains to security, and also how hackers or malicious actors can also use it to cause more problem for companies in terms of security or information security. Okay. So some of the topics that we'll be looking at, as usual, we'll be looking at some cyber news for the week, and then we will jump into introduction of AI, and then we will look at introduction of ChatGPT and some use cases of ChatGPT and the effects of ChatGPT on cybersecurity. Okay, so we are starting off with some cyber news. So maybe most of you might have lost track of time, but the Ukraine-Russian war began 24th of February last year, right? And so this is 1 year, exactly 1 year when this war began. And why, is this important to the cyber community? So there's been, some schools of thought or some research that has really brought to the forefront that this war is not only fought, with ammunitions and with guns, but also there is a lot of cyber war going on at the same time. And some schools of thought has it that before Russia even attacked, weeks leading to them attacking, and immediately after the attack, they were also launching some cyber war against Ukraine, and not just Ukraine, but against other countries that might want to help Ukraine, right? So mostly some of these attacks has been DDoS attacks. So the intent is not necessarily to get onto your network, but to disrupt your activities. That way you are ineffective, and anything else that you're trying to do to help Ukraine kind of becomes useless. So this is just to let you know that this war as we have it today is not only going to be on the physical side, if you want to look at it that way, but it's going to be more on the cyber side as well, right? So this is almost a year, right? Really sad how time flies, and what has gone into this and the effects on the whole entire world. But cyber, as cybersecurity professionals, we also have to keep an eye on the cyber side of things as well. So they don't only use DDoS attacks, but malware. They also use malware and some misinformation campaigns, which we will call social engineering as well. They are using all forms of attacks that will help them really achieve their aim, that is to take over Ukraine. So that is one of the cyber news running this week, because the war started exactly a year this week. The next one that we'll look at is so Fortinet is a company that comes up with 40 NAC. So for those of you who might remember, NAC NAC is network access control, right? And a version of it that is made by the vendor Fortinet is FortNAC. And reason why we are looking at FortNAC is that there is a vulnerability associated with this software, and a patch was made for it. So, mostly when there's a vulnerability, owners of the software will make a patch for it, and immediately a patch was made for it. Also, the proof of concept that attackers can use to exploit this vulnerability was also released. And guess what? Attackers just went at it, using it to try to break into all systems that they could, get their hands on. So, and this happened this week, right? So if you are using FortiNAC at your company, just be aware that the vulnerability, if you've not installed your patches or your updates, please do. because this exploit is very active and attackers are using it. Okay, so that is for our second cyber news for the week. And we are going to jump into our topic for today. That is the effect of ChatGPT on cybersecurity. But ChatGPT is a subset, or it came out of AI, or artificial intelligence. So we have to first look at artificial intelligence, what it is, and the different categories that are out there. And that will give us a better background into understanding what ChatGPT is all about. And we are going to try our hands on ChatGPT. I'm going to invite you to come up with questions and stuff that you think we all think ChatGPT might be able to answer, and we will see how cool this application is, or the software is. So let's jump into AI. What is AI? I know most of us have heard about AI, but not necessarily maybe digging into it and finding out exactly what it is. We kind of have an idea what AI is, but today we are going to look at the academic side of it and build our way into the skill side of it, that is using ChatGPT and understanding exactly how AI works. So AI, artificial intelligence, short for AI, refers to the development of systems and the development of computer systems, if you want to put it that way, that can perform a task that a human being is supposed to do, right? So if we have a software that can write a story, that has AI's backing, because stories is human beings who can think and write stories. But now we are developing to the point where, we have artificial intelligence softwares and products that can do most of these stuff for us. And ChatGPT is one of those, right? So we'll be looking at it shortly here. But the things that AI are supposed to do to replicate human intelligence include visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and language translation, right? So all forms of AI systems, they are backed by data, right? So mostly is data that we feed it with, and then also the type of algorithm that we set it up with in terms of the programming that will be able to help make it, a very smart AI, or, an average AI. And also like how big the database that it is drawing from will determine, how dynamic your AI tool is going to be, right? So we are going to look at how AI works, but AI is being used today in many industries: healthcare, finance, transportation, entertainment, education. We all know they are smart, almost smart everything now, and most of these are using AI. We have smart cars now where Tesla can do self-driving to a certain point. All that is using AI, which is artificial intelligence, right? And the potential for AI is only going to increase, right? It's only going to get better as technology is getting more advanced, and technology is getting better with time, right? So how does AI work? So for AI, like I said earlier, it draws its information and answers that you are going to get from a large amount of data, right? So this data, AI uses this data for correlation and identifying patterns, right? That is why if you go to some websites, there's a chat box. You can type in your questions and it will give you some answers, because it is picking some keywords from what you are typing. It's not like it can really think, but it's doing some, analysis of what you are typing, picking keywords, and trying to give you some answers based on what you are feeding it with, right? So for chat boxes, when we feed them with enough information on how to answer certain questions, they are able to do the work of employing somebody to answer questions that might come through your website or on any platform, right? So when we are when like the programmers of AI are working on coming up with the products, their main focus is three main areas when it comes to cognitive skills. So they look at learning, reasoning, and self-correction, and that is what AI is built on. any AI software that you encounter is built on learning, reasoning, and self-correction, because it gets better, right? If it makes a mistake, it is going to correct itself with time, and it's going to get better and better and better, right? At what it does, right? So let's look at the three main cognitive skills of AI. So first one is learning. So learning here is the information that we give, or the database that AI is drawing from. It is able to create an actionable, it is able to use that to do analysis, and also to, based on the algorithm that is being programmed with, it is able to come up with step-by-step instructions on how it is going to accomplish tasks, right? So that is why like I said, it gets better with time, because it is also learning as it is doing. So if as it is moving ahead, it is getting better with how it answers questions, and then also how it reacts to maybe some of the keywords that you are putting in there, right? So that is the learning part of it. The AI itself, or like whatever software that we are making out of this, it also has that learning aspect of it. So the next portion of it is reasoning. So reasoning is more on the analysis side of it, picking keywords and being able to piece it together and come up with really tangible answers to whatever we are asking it to do. And with self-correction, it is able to correct itself as it is making mistakes. And when we look at ChatGPT, if it doesn't know something or it makes a mistake, it is going to tell you this was a mistake, or I don't know the answer to this, right, at this time, right? So if you try to ask it something that is in real time, it is going to tell you, it doesn't have the capability of getting answers in real time, right? So that is all part of the self-correction. Now, as it acquires more data, and maybe probably if the owners are able to make it to kind of give you something that is in real time, it will be able to do that as well, right? But for now, it is going to tell you it's unable to do that, and that is part of the self-correction aspect of AI, right? So there are two main categories of AI. Some other schools of thought has other list of categories, but the two main fundamental categories of AI, we have strong AI and weak AI, right? So strong AI, we will look at weak AI first. With weak AI is an AI system or artificial intelligence system that performs a specific task, right? So it cannot do multitasking. It does just one specific task, right? An example is industrial robots that we have. If the job of the industrial robot is to maybe probably fix the tire of a vehicle that is being manufactured, that is all that it is going to do, right? Fix the tire and then does it. Fix the tire and then does it, right? So that is, we also call it narrow AI. Weak AI is also called narrow AI. Now, weak AI and narrow AI, as we call it, they have their own use, right? Depending on how we want to look at it. Even Siri for Apple's Siri is also a weak AI, because all it does is just the voice recognition and talking back and giving you information and stuff like that. That is all that it can do. Right? Now let's look at strong AI. So strong AI can do multitasking. It kind of does more reasoning and behaves more like a human being than weak AI, right? It has that more cognitive abilities than weak AI, right? So it kind of tries to mimic a human brain, so it's able to come up with answers to almost everything, and does other things aside just doing one single thing, right? Like weak AI. So these are the two main, categories that form the foundation of all types of AI that we are using today. Right now, we are going to look at who is OpenAI. So OpenAI is a company that came up with ChatGPT, right? So we are looking at, it is an artificial intelligence research company that their mission is to make artificial intelligence beneficial to all humanity, right? And I think they've started on a good note. I mean, they started a while ago, but they came up with ChatGPT in November of 2022, right? So not too long ago, maybe probably less than 4 months. So November 2022 was when they came up with ChatGPT. And prior to ChatGPT, they have other products and other AI software that they have out there, right? Now, ChatGPT, maybe most of you might not know the full meaning of GTP, but that is what is out there. So even like myself, I was just saying ChatGPT without knowing what the acronym GTP meant until a few days ago. So it's a generative pre-trained transformer, right? So that is the full name for ChatGPT. Don't know how they got that name. Maybe because of how it behaves or how they wanted it to behave. That is how they came up with the name. So ChatGPT is the software or the app that has been trending for a while now because of how it is able to respond to questions and how it is able to react to whatever you give it. And there is really nothing out there like it so far, right? And I think personally, it's going to be the thing, like it is going to be the thing that is going to give Google a run for their money. And Google is also trying to come up with something similar. I've forgotten the name, but it's coming up with something similar. But ChatGPT is only going to get better, and they can do a lot of stuff. We'll be demonstrating it here shortly. It can do a lot of really cool stuff, and it was built by OpenAI based on their GTP3 family of large language models that they have. And I think maybe this might probably be their, if not their biggest, maybe their biggest for now in terms of success, right? So the goal or the mission for ChatGPT is to optimize language models for dialogue, right? So how they have ChatGPT set up, you are able to ask it questions, it gives you answers, and even ask it follow-up questions with answers. It's able to admit mistakes that it does. But for now, the makers of ChatGPT, that is OpenAI, they are very, they are pushing, or they really want the public to know that ChatGPT, the answers that you are going to get from it is not 100% accurate. So whatever you get out of it, you also have to make sure, you have to know that it's not 100% accurate because it is still a work in progress, right? It just came out 4 months ago, so they are still fine-tuning it. So some information that you are going to get is not necessarily very accurate. From my experience using it, I think mostly information that you might want to recheck are dates and stuff like that, right? So if you want things that kind of a history of things, you probably have to check. But for other things like, hey, write me a 200-word essay on cybersecurity professionals, it's going to give you something really nice. But if it has to do with dates and years and months and like specific events that happen at specific times, it will try and give you as accurate as possible, but not really. You can't really take that as 100%, right? So there is also another version of it that is the Instruct GTP, but I think Chat GTP came out of Instruct GTP, stand to be corrected, but that is also one product that they have. So we are going to look at, try our hands on Chat GTP, and then we'll look at the effects of Chat GTP on cybersecurity and also what we can use it to do in cybersecurity. And we will see how cool Chat GTP is. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we will go to Google and walk everybody through how to get to Chat GTP and start using it. So as of now, they don't have a mobile app. All that they have is the web version of it, right? So there's no mobile app. I know when you go to Apple App Store and your Google Play Store, there are some apps on there that are trying to write on ChatGPT. So if you don't take it, you're going to download that and think it's ChatGPT, but it is not, right? So they don't have an app as of now. Maybe if they just came up with one, I'm not aware, but I know for sure they don't have an app. Right? So I'm going to share my screen here shortly, and we are going to start playing around with ChatGPT. All right, so if you go to Google, just type in the ChatGPT. I typed in OpenAI. So we can go straight to OpenAI's page or ChatGPT first, but let's just walk everybody through. So OpenAI is the company that makes or that made ChatGPT, right? If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see their features here. So ChatGPT is what we want. We click on ChatGPT and it's going to take us to the page. And all that you have to do is click on try ChatGPT. So I've logged in already. It might probably just take me straight to the ChatGPT interface. If you haven't, it'll ask you to either use your email or to use Gmail. If you have Gmail already, I think they have SSO set up. So it's just going to use your Gmail account to set up an account for you. So mine, is probably just going to log me in because I logged in earlier, right? If not, then we walk through. So yep, it just logged me in. So this is the interface. This is how it looks like. Okay. And it tells you the limitations of ChatGPT here. It says, may occasionally generate incorrect information, may occasionally produce harmful instructions based on or biased content, limited knowledge of world and events after 2021, right? So anything that is kind of behind 2021 is not really up to speed on it, right? So bear in mind, if you are using this for, let's say, for anything that is that you need it to be 100% accurate, you have to know something about the subjects or the topic first to be able to, pick and use whatever it's going to give you as a starting point, right? So let's begin with something small, and then we'll move into big cybersecurity stuff like writing scripts and writing policies and other stuff like that, right? So if you've never used this before, you just come in here. Down here is where you type everything, and then you click send here, and it's going to give you the answer. So this is kind of, the interface is kind of similar to any chat app that you've used before, right? So and on here now they have a paid version. You can upgrade to Plus. I think it's like $20 a month, but you don't really have to use that. You can just start playing around with this, right? So let's start with something very simple. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT to write me as a 500-word essay or 500-word story about a cat and a mouse, or a cat and a dog going on a field trip. And now it's just going to create a story on its own, right? And everybody sees like the speed at which it's just writing this essay or little story. And it's going to be exactly 500 words, and it just, all right, so it's done. I think less than maybe probably like 30 seconds, right? The paid version is supposed to be faster than the non-paid, but I've not used the paid version, but they say supposedly it's supposed to be faster than this one. So this is the story right here. I just asked it to write a 500-word story about a cat and a dog going on a field trip. So, you can, if you are using this for maybe to, tell little stories to your kids or like whatever you are using it for, you can use this and change the names of the, maybe tweak it to how you like it or just use it as it is, right? What we can also do is I can copy this whole story and have it so it can regenerate another response. So, right here, it says regenerate response. So I can have it regenerate another response to the same question, which is going to be different from the first story that it gave. Right. So now the names are different. The setup is different. How it is writing, everything is different. All right. And I can have it regenerate again and again and again and again. So if you come here, you see the first result that we got, and then we'll see the second results that we got, right? So that is it right here. I can have it regenerate another one to have 3 results. And I can also copy this whole story, and I can copy this and have it rewrite. Okay, so I'll have it rewrite this or summarize. So I'm going to have it summarize this story. Summarize it to maybe a 50-word essay, a 50-word, just like a 50-word story. And I'm going to paste the story in here and send. And let's see how that is going to play out. So there we have it, right? It can even do summary. So this is a summary of the whole entire story. And I wanted it to do it in 50 words, and it did just that. Right. So this app can do, or this app can do some, pretty cool tricks. Now let's get into some maybe a little bit cybersecurity stuff. So let's say I'm just going to start with some program. It can also write programming, right? Like computer programming. So if you don't know any program and you want to write something on that program, it can generate it for you. But then the caveat to this is, they said it is not 100% accurate. But for programming, I've tried a couple of it. I'll say it's a decent 95%. But you should have some at least working knowledge of whatever program you wanted to write, and you'll be in a better position to really make use of it and have it work better for you if you know what you are doing, right? So I'll have it write a Python script. A Python script for identifying vulnerabilities. On the network. I'll just say vulnerabilities on the network. So maybe I put it in wrong. So write a Python script for identifying vulnerabilities on our network. So write a Python. I'll redo that again. All right. So we started writing the code instead. Yep. So you see how cool this can be. So for our, I don't want to be technical group, the non-technical group, you can still be technical with the help of ChatGPT, right? But at least you should have a good working knowledge of, what this is all about. And you can use this code. You can just copy it here and go use it for like whatever that you have. So aside writing code, it can also do some pretty cool stuff. So let's write, write, let's say information security policy on on acceptable use. So we are going to have it write a policy, a whole policy on acceptable use. So acceptable use policy is what we want it to write. So we started with AUP, so it's on the right path. All right. So for everybody on here, if on the job you are required to write a policy and you have no clue or you don't have any templates, guess what? There's a place to come and get. At least this is going to be a good working template. So all you have to do is just copy and paste this in a Word document and you are good to go, right? You just have to edit it. Like you have to tailor this to your company. So whatever you think your company needs, you can add it to it. But this, like, it will give you the general, area that you have to touch in an acceptable use policy, right? But if you have any special additions that you have to make to add to this your company needs, yeah, you can, always add to it, right? So there's really not an end to what this app can do, right? So for on the job, it is really going to help you out to figure a lot of stuff out, right? But my advice will be you have to have some good working knowledge still to be able to make the best use out of this, right? If you are just copying and pasting blindly because it just gave you everything, your use of it is kind of going to be limited, right? So now let's look at some use cases, specifically as it pertains to security. So we are going to look at how we are going to use it for, like those of you who might be interested in pen testing, how do we use it for pen testing? And also remediation. So an example that I wanted us to see is the code that was written, like this code. We can paste it and delete some of it, some part of it, and ask it to kind of analyze it and see what is wrong, right? So let's say we can delete this part of it, the keys part of it, right? We can even delete this part also as well. And then we can type in here. Oh, no. So I think it seems like you, okay, Python. Let's just see like what is going to come up with. Okay, so it says, however, it's important to know that this code alone does not sufficient. Okay. So you say identify the error in the code below. and I'm going to put it in parentheses. I'm going to do Control V, and then probably just delete some minute stuff and see how it is going to work, right? And now we can hit send. Okay, so everybody sees how it was able to come up with a coding error. Everybody saw that we deleted the sign, like this sign right here. So the error in the code is in the line below. So it identified the line. That is exactly what we deleted. And then also operator used blah 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 is also missing. So we deleted this whole line also as well. See how it just identified the problem for us. So if you're a programmer or you are non-technical and you're still on the job, they have you like you have to identify issues and problems like this. You are running a certain code, it's not working. You can always run it in here and it's going to identify and within seconds tell you exactly what the problem is. Right? So this is pretty cool. Now let's look at some other use cases as well. Let me pull up. So for pen testing, yes, we can use it for coding, writing code and stuff like that. If you're not really good at coding, you can still do pen testing with the help of ChatGPT if you have to come up with codes. Right now, I want us to still doing some documentation. Let's just say write an SOP for incident response, for cyber incident response. So if you don't have a template for an SOP for anything, you can just put it in here. It's going to give you an SOP. All right. So what I also love about this is the speed at which it is, just spitting out everything. So this is an SOP for incident response. So cyber incident response SOP. And like I said earlier, whatever your organization needs to add or whatever you think is the need of your organization in terms of incident response that is not on here, you can add it. But everything that they have here is the generic items that you need to have on an SOP or in an SOP, right? In an incident response SOP. Okay. So now let's look at another use case here. So it can do malware analysis also as well. Or what I think is we can probably go to, okay. So instead of going back to the slides, I'm just going to go ahead and also do some use cases here for us to learn. So another use case, mostly for the security side, the main two groups or two areas. Now we have a variety of other ones, is the blue team and the red team, right? Now we have purple team and we have white team and all that. But just making it simple, the blue and the red. Blue is on the defense side, so compliance, analysts, all those areas. Whatever you are doing to defend your network is on the blue team side, and the red team side is the pen testing and forensics and ethical hacking, which is pen testing. They are the offensive side, right? Attacking to identify vulnerabilities and then coming up with remediation measures for the blue team to actually implement, right? So for both sides of the equation, blue team or red team, ChatGPT can still help us to do that. So now we are going to look at some use cases for red team, right? So we are going to do, we wanted to write a bash code to enumerate subdomains for google.com. Right? All right, so you see how quick that was. And there's a variety of other ones that we can use. I think like one that I want to show everybody is payloads, creating payloads. Well, if you're not familiar with payloads, don't really worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just go research about payloads. But payloads are used for, they are used for exploits. That is all that I can say about it for now. So creating payloads, we are going to generate an XSS payload for an alert tag, and let's see what we get for that. And all this is on the ethical hacking side. So right there, right? Let's look at another one that we might want to do. So we want to generate an SQL injection payload as well. So let's look at that use case as well. All right, so that is, we have it right there. Now, enough of the pen testing side, and let's do like a last one because I love this one. Buffer overflow exploits. They are pretty hard to come by if you want to write a bash script for buffer overflow, but ChatGPT makes it super easy. So let's do that also. Now I want to generate a bash script to scan your buffer overflow exploits that we might have. Now, see, this is what makes ChatGPT powerful, or maybe more so even more powerful than Google, right? Because if you type in the same thing in Google, it's not going to give you this. And two, if it's going to give you something, you have to, sift through a bunch of chaff or like a bunch of, things that you are not really going to need. And you are not also going to get specific answers like this that you can just copy and use, right? So this makes it super easy. That is why Google is also trying to come up with something similar, like an AI product similar to this also. But I think ChatGPT is kind of going to be at the front of things when it comes to this, because they just came up with this out of nothing. So they are always going to stay ahead. Even if you want to copy them, then you're going to be always behind them, maybe some steps behind them all the time. So now let's look at some of the blue team stuff that you can do with this. So some of the blue team stuff that you can do is what we looked at previously. You can write policies, you can do all that. Now let's look at some of maybe some, if you want to write some code or something that we want to do, maybe generate some PowerShell code for malware scanning and all that. Let's try our hands on one of those. And then we'll jump back onto our presentation. So we want to generate a PowerShell code for malware scanning on a list of computers, so different computers. And there we have it. And all that we have to do is just copy and use, right? Now let's look at another use case, like the last one for the blue side, and then we are going to move forward. So we are going to ask it to generate a code to get a malicious IP from malicious IP form from our SIM and then block it on my firewall. So we are going to go ahead and send this. All right, so there we have it. Even on the blue side, if you need to do anything on these lines, write some code or generate a code, you can always come here and do that. Okay. So we are going to go ahead with our presentation. Any questions on this? Or I'm going to leave, and let me also show you maybe one trick or something else. It can also write in different languages as well, not only in English. So we can let's try one, write maybe a 300 word story in French about a car, about a sports car. All right, so it can also write in other languages, even in local dialects in Africa, name it. Yeah, like anything that you can think of, this can probably give you something on those lines, right? So I was going to have us open the floor for people to, maybe say something for us to check if it can give us something, but maybe probably that will be during the question and answer session. So we are going to move on, and we are going to look at some of the pros and cons of using this, right? So we will hold all questions and we'll wrap it up here shortly, and you can ask your questions. So we went through trying it. Now the question is, will ChatGPT, will it really help security professionals, or will it hinder security professionals and cause some maybe become kind of like a potential security threat if it gets in the hands of cyber criminals? And we looked at some of the things that we can use it for, some use cases. So we're just going to skip those. And also some of these we can, everything that is on here, we just demonstrated. So all these we demonstrated already, right? So now moving into, I'm just going to go back to the question of using ChatGPT for good or evil. Now, everything that we use it for, right? That we were thinking we are using it for good for the blue team or red team. Guess what? Attackers can use it for the same exact thing, right? So if an attacker is looking for a script that will help it to probably scan 1,000 IP addresses, or probably come up with some really cool social engineering or phishing attacks write-ups. This will help you to do that, right? Now, the owners of ChatGPT, they've tried their best to kind of block anything that is so obvious in terms of requests. So if I go in there and I'm like, write a phishing email for me about maybe PayPal, it's probably going to tell me it's not going to write it, right? But if I tell it to write me an error message that was generated by PayPal, it's going to give me something on those lines. And I can just use that error message to send random phishing emails with a link. And the link is going to take them to the page or has a payload behind it that I'm going to use to exploit or to break into their network, right? So attackers can use it for bad. As security professionals, we can use it for good, right? So depending on who has it or in whose hand we find this, right? Because we cannot really, you cannot limit this to people. I mean, you don't know the intent of people who wants to use it, right? It's just like anything, driving a car, right? Whoever is driving it, you don't know the intent that he's going to smash into somebody's car on purpose, or he's going to try to hit somebody on purpose, right? It's a good vehicle, or it's a good machine that you can use to go from one place to the other, but we can also use it for bad, right? So, but in this space, in cybersecurity is a fight between good security professionals and bad, like security people who are ethical hackers and who are hackers, not ethical hackers. Ethical hackers are good people, right? Who are hackers who are trying to get onto our network to steal information and also to cause harm and, to cause us some financial damage. So if attackers, as we are looking for ways to help us work, and be more functional and effective on the job as security professionals, attackers are also looking at it on the other side, how best they'll be able to use this tool to attack effectively, right? So it's kind of a push and pull situation here, but ChatGPT, we can use it for good. What our advice is, whatever you are using it for, whenever you get your inputs, please double check and make sure it is exactly what you are looking for, and it touches on everything. But for all intents and purposes, this is a really good starting point for anybody who wants to do anything in any field, but most especially in the security side. Let's say, like an example with the security policies, you have no clue how to start a security policy. It will give you the generic areas that you need for that specific policy, and you can use that as a starting point, and other ones like that. So even code, identifying problems in code, even for your security policy, you can put in there, hey, maybe you don't like the tone of it. It can change the tone, make it more professional. It can change the tone, make it more user-friendly. That way everybody can understand. You can have it write security awareness training strategy for you. You can have it do so many things, right? So for security side, we can always use it for good. For attacker side, nobody really controls their action, and they can use it for bad, right? And we've all seen how it's able to, work effectively. So if attackers want to use it, they can also use it for their own intents and purposes, right? So we are going to open the floor for questions, and we will address all questions, and then we'll look at the ones in the chat as well. So for Brian and then Enoch, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, just to give some tips on ChatGPT that are very important. One thing is that people should learn the word prompt engineering. When you become a better prompter, ChatGPT is going to give you a better response. That's one. Also, let's just say as you're learning cybersecurity, you don't understand some of the terms or the lingo. You can write in there, write and explain to me what SIEM is, SIM, as a 5-year-old. And it will explain it exactly how a 5-year-old would how a 5-year-old would understand it. Or you can say
Wow.
write it as a teenager.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so it will explain it like if you're playing with toys, it'll explain what it means a sim is. Another important thing is they have chat GPT detectors that they're working on out in the field to make sure that you're not just using information and just pasting it anywhere, and it will detect if it came from chat GPT. So to avoid that, what you want to do is look at some of your old writings that you've written before and put it in chat GPT and say, analyze this writing for me. And when I ask you to write something, do it in that style, in this tone that it comes from my style. So when you do it that way, it won't seem like it came from AI. It will look like it's coming from you. Another wonderful thing you could do with it is if you're going to practice with interviews, you could ask it to be an interviewer for a cybersecurity role. And you got to prompt it in a way that says that asks you a question and then you'll answer it. And then it will say how you did, and then it'll ask you another question. Um, those are just some tips I wanted to give y'all that are very important. And like I said, learn prompt engineering, because if you ask it in a certain way, it's going to give you a better answer. Another good thing is that if you want to really dive deep, you could say, you are an expert in cybersecurity and you have 30 years experience. I want you to be my mentor. Can you show me a 90-day plan on how I could be a better cybersecurity expert? And it will take 30 years of experience from the computer and all the knowledge that it's learned and give you a better answer than just saying, be a mentor for me for cybersecurity. So just wanted to give you all that information that if you do it that way and be a better prompter, it's going to give you a better answer.
Oh, I mean, that is amazing, Brian. Really some good insight. Really some good insight. And I think everybody should, write all that Brian said down, or you can revisit the recording. That is really amazing. Thank you, Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, along the lines of tips, since it's not an app, you can actually, if you have an iPhone and you go to that website and you log in, you can actually create an icon in your phone. So you can just tap on it like an app and it takes you straight to it. So that's what I want to say.
Wow. Okay. 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 For all cool iPhone people, that's good. Enoch, I appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead, Sheila.
So I have two questions. My first question is, so if you're using it to say, create a document and you need a document that you have to have a reference, are you able to use it to give you, give a supporting document or a reference to the information that is given? And then my second question is also, when you have this on your phone or on your computer, since it's AI, is there anything that we should be concerned about? Does it tap into, for instance, on your computer, does it tap into your privacy where it's taking some personal information from your computer, say your pictures or whatnot, as you are assessing it?
So for
Doctor,
yeah.
sorry, Doctor. I can answer our first question.
Okay, go ahead.
I've actually tried it before.
Okay.
So you can actually pick up a topic to say, okay, write a literature survey, on cybersecurity sim, for example. And you can put how many words, and it's going to write it for you. And you can also ask again that, okay, can you provide references for those write-up? And it will list all the references perfectly.
Oh, great, pretty cool. And so Sheila, about the privacy aspect of it, for now, ChatGPT is not, it doesn't run live. Like, how do you even put it? It doesn't, like, it can't give you anything in real time, right? So, and also for the settings and everything, because it doesn't really, is not able to do anything in real time. I don't think they are able to track, you know, like your location and your activities on the net and everything like that. But maybe probably in the future, it might, like how Facebook is able to. So for Facebook, if you go to Facebook, like you download the app or you go to their website and you don't go to your settings and indicate or like take out that aspect of it that says they can, you know, track your activities outside Facebook. That is kind of default. So you have to go there and uncheck that. If you don't, then it's able to track your activities elsewhere on the net. And that is where you come back to Facebook and they're advertising stuff like the shoes that you are trying to buy at Macy's is right there for you. And you are wondering why and how that happened. But for ChatGPT for now, I think they are unable to do that, or they don't have that set up yet. I stand to be corrected. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to also say that this is going to be very powerful when you are going to be working and you get emails. If you get an email from somebody, you don't know how to respond to it, you could take that email that they wrote to you and you put analyze this email and respond, do a reply, and it will reply in a professional way for you. And even with like LinkedIn, let's just say a recruiter reaches out to you and they like what they see, they see your experience and they say, look, I see that you have experience in this area. I would like to send you some information. And instead of just saying, okay, send me the information, take that and say, analyze this message and reply to it. And then ChatGPT will reply in a professional way, and it will even spell out the role that they said that they were want to give you information on, and then I'll let them know, okay, what would be a great time or on phone or email or message to get back with you. It's a game changer. It will definitely be more productive for you and do great things for you if you use it in that way. Because I know a lot of us have been in a situation where, how do I reply to this email? And it will do it for you.
Great input again, once again, Brian. And I think, have you done, like, are you done, or like you had a question? You answered Shailesh. Okay, so his hand is down. So now let's look at the questions in the chat. I think Captain AJ was answering some of them in here. So is there any outstanding ones? Go ahead, Captain AJ.
Yeah, how's everybody doing? So we got some questions. This is very interesting. I'm really happy that you brought this topic up for us to discuss, because it looks like individuals like Brian has had a lot of interaction with ChatGPT, and I'm enjoying the knowledge I'm picking. But let's go ahead and get into some questions which will help us to get abreast with it. So one question that I was looking at was, how does the ChatGPT make revenue? I guess we had some answer talking about the ChatGPT Plus, but I really want to know, okay, it is free currently, but it definitely has a limit to the free account that you're going to pay. If somebody has anything to, add to it, because I don't think it will be free forever, because obviously you paying for the GPT Plus, add a little bit benefit to you. The response is much quicker, and also you get the new features as compared to a free account subscriber. Dr. Edu, if you want to add anything to it on that note.
Yeah, so just the same way Facebook is making money, Twitter is making money, Instagram is making money. That is how ChatGPT is going to make money. And how do they make money? For the end user, for the most part, is free, right? They make money through advertisements, and how they do that is now it is free. They are going to capture the market, get a very large audience base, and then they'll be able to sell spaces on there for ads, and people have to pay. Companies will have to pay to advertise on there. So that is how they get money, and then they're also going to have a paid version. Now they have a paid version, which is the ChatGPT Plus. It is, I think, $20 a month. But overall, they are mostly for these softwares. That is kind of like a social media platform. The end goal is to get as many users as possible. And then on the backside, you are going to use that to leverage and, as a big advertising platform for companies. And that is how they make money. So if anybody has anything to add that they know,
Yes.
Brian, go ahead.
Yes. With the free chat GPT, sometimes you may get an error message is because a lot of people are on the server and they don't have enough servers to, equip to get to everybody. So sometimes you're going to see an error. So you got to pick different times during the day or morning or evening or middle of the day where when you want to test this out or play with it or do actual productivity, just try it again. With Chat GPT Plus, you won't have that problem. Their servers will always allow you to ask any question that you want, and this plus is going to be faster. So not necessarily saying that you have to get Chat GPT Plus, but just keep in mind with the free one, it is limited that the servers will go down sometimes because so many people are on it.
Yes, that is very true. I've tried to, go on there a couple of times and it says it's full. So, yes.
I
Go
just got
ahead.
a couple comments.
Yes.
So I've used Chat GPT to write some sourcing policy, etc. I was able to write, say, 15 pages of some very solid content. I'll say sound content based on policy, etc. And what helped me a lot was keying in relative keywords. So I would suggest that someone or us, I will use keywords from our content that we've learned within our courses, and that'll help it better define and build, the outcome that we want, especially towards some earlier comments. In relation to the paid version, I'm doing the paid version. I haven't been able to exploit it to a great degree, but it's only $20 a month, I think. But I think maybe it's been mentioned already that Microsoft invested $10 billion into OpenAI. I think we know that, right? And one of the main reasons was to expand the server capacity. And then obviously they're going to monetize it like we're seeing already. But that's basically it. But my use, I'm very satisfied with my use thus far. But it's based on, quality in, then obviously higher quality out, I'll say. Thank you.
All right. Randall, I appreciate it. Great input. Input. Go ahead, Ranger Boots.
Yes. So I just wanted to add a little bit to what everybody has said concerning the free version. Basically, like almost everybody said, there's gonna be limitations. Sometimes you give it a few queries, and then it's gonna stop you and be like, you've had too many queries within the past 1 hour, So yeah,
Really?
I've hit that road a couple of times. I think right now they're doing the paid version, but I don't think that is the goal for them though. The paid version is just for them to do some sustainability and all those kind of stuff. But in the meantime, they're playing because now AI, everybody is getting into AI. There are so many developers, including Google. And Google, we all know that Google has a high database, right? But the ChatGPT is like miles ahead of the curve. So at the moment, they're still trying to keep it open just to make sure that they still gathering. See, every time we go in there and we're doing queries and doing asking it for a lot of things, it is learning. It's learning a lot from our own queries. So it's playing the long game, trying to gather as much data as it is. I don't think the end user is actually the goal, because right now, like somebody already mentioned, Microsoft have had investment in there so that they can use the intelligence that they are gathering. And not just Microsoft, there are a lot of other, even the cybersecurity world, there are a lot of people now trying to get access to ChatGPT on a commercial level, right? So hopefully it still remain free for the most part for the end user, but I see this thing becoming big in the industry, especially for those who want to learn a little bit about it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We'll go back to Abiodun and then Nag. And yes, go ahead.
Okay, just a follow-up to what I said earlier, because there is a concern from the academic community, because you can actually write a whole thesis, by the help of ChatGPT. So some other companies are also coming up with some algorithm, so that when you submit your paper, it will also analyze whether it was an AI-generated submission that you have, so that is also currently going on. So ChatGPT is really causing a lot of disruption, everywhere, including the academic community right now. Thank you.
Yeah, true. And I know in New York they bound it for, I think, high schools and elementary schools. They are not allowed to use it in school, right? So you can use it at home. But on school, like computers, you're not allowed to use it. They banned it. So because of things like that. So go ahead, Nag.
Yeah, actually, you covered the main topic, like especially ISDs, school districts. Some school districts already banned this access within the schools, at least. And also there are some apps which checks whether essay is generated from ChatGPT or some AI generation tool. So that is one thing. And second thing, just there is a Dolly, right? Dolly, where you can create your own picture. Suppose you take one original picture and you modify according to, by giving just oral command, you can update that image so that it will be your unique image where you can create NFT. That is also one of the application people are commercializing.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then, okay. That's some good insight. Good insight. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, but because
Bernard.
those images are being utilized for volunteers or donation purpose to raise funds and all those stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that input. Go ahead, Bernard.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And greetings from Texas, Houston. This is my first time joining, and I'm already
okay. You're welcome.
Yeah. I just started a project. Became a cloud security engineer in my organization 4 months ago, and already I have a project to write with regards to creating a cloud security program documentation for my company. So how would I be able to use such a great tool to be able to accomplish that? I don't know if somebody can help.
I think Brian is our subject matter expert today. So we're going to call on Brian or Randall to answer this one. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Summarize that again, sir, if you could.
Yes, I currently have a project to write a cloud security program documentation for my company, and I want to find out how I can leverage this tool to be able to accomplish that.
Well, first, what you could do, you could prompt GPT to give you an outline first, right? And then within that outline, you can tell it to give a summary or to write so many words on on that outline, and then it will write the whole thing for that subject. So you can start right there. So the most important thing is to get an outline first. For example, let's just say I want to bake a cake. I'll say, I want to bake a cake. Give me an outline on baking the cake. And then you would take that outline and then you would tell ChatGPT to write write a subject for each bullet point or each outline, and it would do that for you. And then you build upon that. Once you build upon that, you can start having more pages and more pages of information on that exact subject. So you really won't be limited. It's unlimited how far you can go as well.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
And real quick, I seen one question I wanted to address. Someone said, will ChatGPT take over cybersecurity jobs? And the answer is no. Especially right now, it's not that advanced. Because you still need somebody to still be in there to do coding and do incident response and vulnerability management and things like that. Now, some jobs that could be at risk is programming. That's possible. But other than that, I don't see cybersecurity jobs going anywhere no time soon.
Yeah, great point. Great point. I think Randall, and then we will leave the floor for other people. Go ahead, Randall.
All right, thank you. I was just trying to help the person asking about the policy. So as mentioned, just give it something to work with, if you will. The more you give it, the more it's going to give back. And it'll be more focused on your needs of your organization. Now, that said, just focus with the fundamentals, get a fundamental outline, keywords, etc. Or I want to include the following. And then just take it from there. But then, as mentioned, you can regenerate. And I would suggest invest $20, for a month, and you're going to get, $1,000 back or 500 or something back. So I would suggest doing that. That's it.
Thank you.
All right,
so
thank
much.
you, Randall. Okay, so Kofi, and I think like somebody else wanted to give an input.
Oh yes. So I think basically they've actually covered everything. What I was gonna ask him to do was, in addition to what he already said, if he could get a hand on a template, one that is already in the company, preferably, or outside the company, of the same document, and then use that template as a guide. Probably look at the outline. Like everybody said, everything goes off from the outline. Look at the outline and then let ChatGPT give it the right information concerning the project at every level. For instance, the introduction, every chapter that you want to write on, give it the opportunity to give you a good outline of it. Pick every line of it and query it to give you something to write with. So once you query it with that outline, it's gonna generate more and more documents, and before you realize, you already have the full document on hand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Greetings from Japan. It's my first time here. Everything that the gentleman said is correct. And even if you do not have the outline or a template that cannot be found, simply working from the outline for ChatGPT will create a template. You can set it up, especially by using the $20 model. You can set up an outline, work with the template, and then refine the parameters from then. Hope that helps.
Thank you. That really helps. And I think from everything that we are hearing, a lot of you have experience using this, and having everybody chime in on the experience is really helpful, because we are all learning. I'm learning a lot from everything that everybody has said, and I know everybody is also, regardless of how well, I think even the owners of ChatGPT are still learning a lot from everybody else. So thank you very much for all your inputs. Go ahead, Kofi.
Yes, so it's been very, very exciting
hearing about this new technology. So what I want to ask, with every technology, there's always a pros and cons, right? So I wanted to ask it, like, if for some of the guys who are very familiar with the tool right now, to speak to some of the limitations that they have experienced with this technology.
Okay, Kofi. So I think I'll go first, right? I kept stressing on the app owners says that everything is not 100%. So anything in terms of history or anything on those lines that dates back 2021 backwards is not very accurate, and that is true. Like I tried, I think, what was it? I tried to have it, write the history of PCI Council, and it started with PCI Council was formed in 2004, which is not accurate, right? And it kept giving me something. I was like, okay, so I really get what they mean now. So whatever it is giving you, you have to be careful, right?
Okay.
But when it comes to writing policies and stuff like that, I think it has a good database where it gives you the general outline and like everything that has to be generally in that, generally has to be in that policy, right? But if it comes to anything, things that I'll be more concerned about are things that has to do with history and dates that, goes back beyond 2021. I'll be careful and kind of double check on it first. Go ahead, Randall. I think maybe Mr. Harvey has some good insight on that as well.
Just one fundamental thing that I've noticed, and this is while I had the unpaid version, okay, I'll use the paid version this weekend, but fundamentally, I couldn't print. So I had to select the content and then just drop it into a Google Doc, if you will. So you may find that as a weakness. I'm wondering if that feature is allowed with the paid version, but honestly, I don't know. So some fundamental things like that, exporting, downloading, etc., I have not seen thus far.
Okay, thank you, Randall. Good input. Go ahead, Damien.
Dr. Radu and everyone, thank you so much for putting this together. It's very, very informative, really. One thing the gentleman asked about the drawback, one thing that I noticed is that a couple of days ago, I asked it to give me a link for something. I don't know exactly what it was, and it told me like it didn't have internet, it told me it did not have internet access, so it cannot give me a link to it. So that's the one thing that I noticed too. I don't know, maybe there might be a work around it, but that's the one thing that I noticed.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, has experienced any drawbacks with ChatGPT?
Yes, I have. So thank you, Doctor, once again. We need to recognize that ChatGPT, while a genius, is still a kid. It's a kid genius, basically. So it's still learning. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So it's this Dame, or forgive me, please, because the pronunciation.
Right. Dame is right.
Yes. So as Dame said, the links now are no longer provided, but before it was also providing links. It was providing links, but the user bias and the business operations will also provide a limit to what you get as somebody free and as somebody paying. So that's also a drawback, because the more that interest is created with it, the more issues come up. So with the original version of ChatGPT, you were getting unfiltered, complete learning, them accessing the internet and compiling the information for you. Once the buzz was created, they're slowly throttling it down, putting in their interests, putting in their biases. That's it.
Oh, okay. Great point. Great point, Jason. Anybody else? All right. So, Captain AJ, if you have any questions in there that you want us to look at.
Yes, I do have a question. Hopefully, I can get some smart individuals to tackle that. Someone is trying to find out, can it be used to decrypt QBolt file or HTML file? All I know is that those files are very huge. But if Ryan can help us, if you have tried that before, or Dr. Do yourself, because those files are huge. I don't think that GPT will be able to decrypt that.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
I don't know if it can detect it, but what I did one day is I said, ChatGPT, build me a website and write code to sell 5 different type of flowers, and it spit out the code in like 5 seconds, and the code worked. So you can build a website just like that as well. So that it can do. You just got to prompt it in the right way to give you the code, and it will give you the HTML code and the CSS code, and even some JavaScript to help you build the website.
Great, great.
I like the way you said that, for sure. Right, because let me say this before I forget, because Brian, what you said is great, because obviously it is nowhere close to artificial general intelligence. However, there is an exponential growth, because as more people use it, just like what our previous speaker said, it's a baby. The more people use it, it grows its mind, and then eventually it will be able to do that, hopefully. Yeah.
Yes, and I think one way to find out from the question is to try it, right? Just go in there and, like have at it. Just type it in there, like whatever you want it to do. Hey, encrypt whatever, and then if you are able to upload it or like copy and paste it in there, it's going to give it a shot. If it's not able to do that, it's going to tell you, I'm unable to do this at this time, right? So I think like that is going to be probably like the easiest way to find out, right? Go ahead, Captain AJ. Any more questions in there before we wrap it up?
Most of the questions, have been answered, but I would like to throw this, statement out there. It's not full-blown question, but I would like people to, kind of talk about it. So, Dr. Du and whoever wants to talk about it. So, talking about ethical concerns when it comes to this. Like 3 days ago, I was watching the news, right? And the Michigan shooting. So, eventually, the dean or assistant dean decided to use ChatGPT to write the condolences letter, apology letter to the parents or the families who were involved. And they got in trouble for using GPT. So just like, some of our friends are saying, even though it has all these benefits, we need to know when and how and in what situations to use this great tool that is upon us. Like the, impact on cybersecurity. I mean, the way I look at it, GPT can be used for phishing emails. Amazing. It can create its own malware. So, one, we will not lose our jobs as cybersecurity professionals, from what I know, because somebody's going to use it. You need people to counteract. I mean, I'm not saying that it will be able to solve its own problem, but we will not go anywhere as cybersecurity professionals. That will be decades to come for it to really take over. Neither will it even probably see its fruit, because look at New York. New York has already banned the use of it. We don't know whether this in existence will flourish through our era or not. So that's what I want to throw out there.
Okay, great point, Captain AJ. And for anybody who thinks maybe this will be able to replace, cybersecurity jobs, not necessarily accurate. It's going to enhance cybersecurity jobs. It's also going to enhance hacking, right? So then there's going to be the need for more cybersecurity professionals who will also be able to counter such. So it's always going to go up. It's just like saying maybe there is like a new surveillance, or like there's a new CCTV camera that is going to help reduce the number of police or security personnel that we have to employ. Like it is not going to work that way, right? Because like the more we have, the more the attackers and the bad guys are also finding ways around it and then the more people we are going to need. And then plus, AI is going to be AI, but AI is trying to mimic your human brain. And AI can never replace the human brain, right? So human brains are more powerful than any computer that you can ever find in this world, because the computers were created by who? Human beings. Although it's able to spit out all these things really fast and all that, but your human brain is still powerful than it, right? So when it comes to analyzing and trying to troubleshoot stuff, I don't think there is any AI or any artificial intelligence that can do that better than a human being, right? So cybersecurity jobs are only going to be enhanced with this, because now some things can be done faster, quicker, and we don't have to kind of reinvent the wheel or try to, go like the manual way. But at the same way, like on the flip side, attackers are also will be getting smarter and smarter with this. So I think it's going to be an even playing field for everybody with ChatGPT. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, like I said, the most important thing is just learn prompt engineering, and you can Google on. You can go Google best prompts to use for GPT, and they'll start teaching you what to say to it. Like I said, you just don't want to say, "How do I bake a cake?" You want to say something as in terms of you're an experienced baker that has 20 years of baking the cake. I want you to give me a unique recipe that will wow customers. So it will think in a way to give you a unique recipe to wow customers. So the thing that ChatGPT will get you in trouble with is, we know about education and also Google. Don't use ChatGPT to write SEO, because Google is going to not rank a website with ChatGPT SEO. There's ways around it to make it right in a way that it doesn't seem like it comes from AI. But if you're into web development, don't use ChatGPT to copy and paste. You got to write it in your own way, and then reanalyze it, and then write it a different way so Google will recognize it. Because if you just say, give me all the keywords and SEO for a website, and if you put it on there, Google knows it comes exactly from ChatGPT, and it won't rank that website.
Great input, Brian. Great input. I appreciate it.
Hey, yeah, so I just wanted to add to what you said earlier on concerning ChatGPT. The only way forward from here is basically more security. I think about 2 days ago, this news broke out about, I don't know if you heard about it, the research group that was able to trick ChatGPT into building a malware which it used to bypass the EDR. They used that to claim a bug bounty. Right, they made a lot of money out of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, basically, So that is exactly what is happening right now. So basically, now we need more cybersecurity. We need more people who can actually also make use of this AI to build better security. Right, like I think somebody put it out there. Probably prompt engineering is gonna become a thing very soon, because now you need people who have that deep knowledge, right, to be able to put in the right prompts, as Brian is saying, because you get what you get, you get what you give it, right? So putting in the right prompts, getting the right results, and all those kind of stuff. So, of course, cybersecurity is not going anywhere. It's actually more needed now than ever. So we should all just embrace it.
Thank you. Thank you. And any more inputs from anybody before I wrap it up? And the Captain AJ, I think you ran through all your questions already.
Yeah, I'm good with the questions right now. Thank you.
Okay. Well, any more inputs? I think Nag. Okay, so Nag was unmuted, but
just I want to say thank you. It's very nice discussion and very active participation. I really liked it.
Okay, you're welcome. Damie, please go ahead.
Yeah, one more input that I wanna put in there is that there's also there's some tools, I don't know if they're free, but I know there are some tools that you can use, like if you write something, like, you know how you were giving us examples earlier, like if you write something with ChatGPT and you want to check its authenticity or something, it tells you, like, you know, you plug it into that tool and it tells you, okay, 90%, or it gives you the percentage. So you also have to be careful, so you can just reward it or use your own inputs also, not just like you can't just cut and paste and use that the way ChatGPT put it. So there are some tools that also that can detect that, if you know that it is written with ChatGPT or any kind of AI. There are tools like that too. I'm not sure if they're free, but
Yeah, I completely agree, because my daughter actually, when I try to question and get answer, I asked my daughter to review. It said the format is correct, but it doesn't have any actual information. So as a kid, she is able to recognize that that is not the real information. So yeah, we need to be real careful. But the formatting and all, wording, formatting, what are the topics to be covered, all those sections are really helpful.
Great. I think we have Olivia, and then Brian will go again. Or Oliver, if I got your name wrong.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So Olivier, it's not like I'm not going to ask a question or a contribution, but I just I'm worried. It's a request because I joined late because I was traveling and I got problem of network. I joined late and I missed a lot. I'd like to ask if it's possible that you can have a replay so that at least you would get to be honest, this one was very important. Can't wait to have a replay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. So we stream live on YouTube now. So once we're done, that is going to be there before we even post the replay, right? So if you go to our YouTube channel, Eretmis Academy, you are going to have the whole entire session there before we even post the replay. So go to the live session on there, you'll be able to see it there. So
thank you.
You're welcome. Brian, please go ahead.
Yes. Just one last thing. The most important thing is that when people were saying like the systems can recognize it comes from AI and stuff, teach it your voice and your tone, meaning your writing style. That's why I was saying earlier, put some of your old writings into ChatGPT and analyze it. And say, I want to write in this style. Let's just say you do a lot of humorous stuff, and you could tell ChatGPT to write in that style. And when you say write an essay about a dog, it will write humor with humor. And you can also say, you know, write with humor and also add some emotion to the story. So there's so many things that you could tell ChatGPT to do. Like I said, the most important thing is think of all the things you want it to do and then tell it to do. Don't just tell it one thing. You got to prompt it in a way so it prepares. It's like you're prepping it before it spits out everything. Remember that you got to prep everything so it gives you the right answer. If you just tell it one thing, it'll give you an answer, but it could have gave you a better answer. So.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, I really appreciate your inputs. Very insightful.
Hey, so just one last thing, right? So I think Brian touched on it, and then the lady that spoke before Brian touched on it. So some of the tools that you could be using to actually test your writing to make sure that at least it's not detected, or it actually detects it before you do anything with it. You can go to GPT-0 or GPT-0X, right? And then over there you can just whatever you have, you can just put it in there and make sure it's almost like a plagiarism checker, right? So you can use it to check your stuff before you make use of it.
Okay, thank you. Bayamon, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say we can also use ChatGPT with some other artificial intelligence tools like Synthesia or Lumen 5 to improve our presentation skills. Also, for those who want to do video on YouTube, we can use that as well for that. Like what you can do, you go first, you specify the general concept on ChatGPT. It's gonna give you the outline, and from that outline, you will find your specific topic. It's gonna give you the detail of the specific topic on what you have to write in the other artificial intelligence tools like Synthesia. Now you can copy that and paste on that tool. It's gonna give you a whole presentation who somebody will be there and talk to you for you and make a good presentation for you, or make a good video for you for YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jason, go ahead.
Okay, thank you about that. So it leads me back to the original question that I posted in the chat before. After we create the narrative, after we set the style for ChatGPT, and we use it as if we are the originator, and we go to schools, for example, in New York, in China, where it is banned, what then? As the original poster, as the original user of the style, your professor, your system, which based on the algorithm, based on routine, has a profile and pattern for you, then says that your original work is ChatGPT. What then?
Well, good question for everybody. Yeah. Anybody want to give it a shot?
And it just takes me back to the original thing I said, is that you have to teach ChatGPT to learn your style of writing. You don't want to just say, ChatGPT, write me an essay on world history, a 500-page essay, because then when you turn it in, they're going to know that it's from there. If you put a message before that and say, analyze the way that I write, like a paragraph that you've written before, and then say, I want you to write in this style and this tone, an essay on world history, then it's going to be less likely from AI. And you can even put at the end of that, write in a way that it doesn't seem like it's coming from AI. When you do that, it takes a lot of the robotics of AI out. And there's another video I got to look up later. I seen it 2 weeks ago. The guy made it where it doesn't seem like it come from AI. He say, write in a robust way as a human form that it doesn't come from AI. And when you prompt it that way, it's going to be less likely that it looks like it comes from AI. It's going to look like it came from a human instead of a robot.
Brian, thank you. However, sorry, Doctor.
Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That, however, does not answer the question completely, because, as I stated before, you've set your tone, just as you said. You provided your paragraph. You provided instruction that it writes within your parameters, style, framework, whatever you want to say it, however you want to prompt it. The other AI, the school's AI, is the issue here. It is collecting a profile on you. For example, if you miss a word, say, for example, you use crucial, paramount importance, myriad, those 3 words. If you miss the words within an assignment, it takes note. If you don't use it as often as your original works, it takes note. That's what patterns are. That's what profiles are. So if ChatGPT provides an essay, as you said, on world history, without any of your common phrases, it's going to say that it's not you, whether you wrote it or not, because its pattern is saying you didn't use this, this, or this fingerprint, iris, voice, gait. That's not you.
And to go with that, if there's a certain pattern that you've used in some of your writings, you can prompt ChatGPT to say, use this pattern of writing. If I talk in British, I want you to use this pattern as I'm writing this essay. So there are certain things that if you have said the guy jumped off the mountain in a certain way, and older essays, you could prompt GPT to do it that way. But the most important thing is this: once it prints out that essay, read everything and then still change things up and put your pattern in there. If it didn't do your pattern, you want to not just copy everything and then turn it in. You still want to revise everything, and then if you don't see your pattern in there, take some of those words out and put your pattern in there. The thing is, ChatGPT is supposed to just save you time, but also you still got to give it your uniqueness. You still got to give it the way that you flow on your writing. And when you do that, both of y'all that come together, ChatGPT and yourself, it saves you time, gives you a little bit better writing style, but still you put your input in the writing to give it that it came from you.
Thank you, sir. You've just answered the question. As Kay says, it's a tool, it's a guide, it's just a tool. How you use it is how it works. So again, we cannot just solely revile or live on ChatGPT without our input. We provide the parameters. We have to review at the end. As people who are in the security field, we know how important reviews are. So there you go. Thank you.
Great point. Jason, thank you for that question, and you kept pushing to bring out exactly the point that I also wanted to make. So, and Brian rightly said, so ChatGPT is not to make you lazy, right? Like Brian said, it is to save you time, right? Not to I know everybody wants to be lazy, once here and there. You don't want to do the job, it does it for you, and you just copy and paste. That is not the intent of ChatGPT. The intent is to set you off, or at least give you a starting, point. So an example with the policies, if it generate it gives you the general outline and everything, but then you have to tailor it to what your company is looking for. You have to make sure you go through and read everything in there, make it your own, right? Mm-hmm. So at least it saved you the time of brainstorming and writer's block. You stay, starting writing 2 lines and going back and trying to find something to do, just not to write it, right? So now at least you have something to work with. So the intent is not to make you lazy, and like Jason rightly said, if you just do copy and paste, there are old plagiarism softwares out there that is going to catch you, red-handed. And now plagiarism softwares are also getting smarter because they are using AI, right? So, and also even on the job, if you are just copying and pasting, you don't really own that document, because for every policy or any documents on the governance side that you do, you want to make it your own, right? Because if you have to defend it in top of your C-suite, you should know exactly what is in it, right? So, I think we all made a really good and valid point. ChatGPT is to help you start the whole process, not to do your whole entire work for you and have you go to bed. Just like how your self-driving car from Tesla is not for you to sleep and be snoring when you are driving from New York to Texas. you have to be wide awake, even though it is driving by itself, and still pay attention to what is going on, right? So it is helping you out to kind of take some of the stress out, not to do the job for you. So we should all keep that, in mind. I appreciate everybody's time. So we are going to go ahead to the last two hands that are raised here, and then I think we are almost at the point of wrapping it up. So Kelly, if I got your name right, if not, please let us know exactly how it is pronounced.
Hi, everyone. My name is Khalik, but you was close.
Thank you.
Yeah, and sorry, I came really late towards the end, but just from hearing the dialogue and from hearing the explanations from everyone, it seemed very engaging. So I'll be checking the YouTube. If this has already been mentioned, I apologize, but one way that I've been utilizing ChatGPT a lot is to give it some personas. And so I'll ask ChatGPT to take on the mindset and the persona of an expert in the industry or in the field or a topic. For example, if you're trying to do like market research, for your business, and say I'm selling water bottles or something like that, I'll be like, ChatGPT, pretend that you're a 40-year-old woman with kids, and you constantly go to Kroger to buy a pack of water bottles. I'm selling this product. Is this something that could interest you? And ChatGPT will give me that answer. And if the answer is no, it doesn't interest me, I'll ask ChatGPT, okay, what are some things that I can implement within my branding and my marketing that will interest you? Going back to the dialogue between Jason and Bryant, I feel like they made a really good point of utilizing ChatGPT as a guide, not to just straight up give you the answer. And so if you can kind of get ChatGPT to go back and forth with you, like in a dialogue, like in a conversation, you told ChatGPT, rather than answering my questions, respond with a question that will lead me to another thought or to another question until I get my endpoint. And then you can go back and forth with ChatGPT until you have formalized your entire, essay, whatever you're writing, idea, thought, whatever. And I found that to be very useful in utilizing ChatGPT.
Thank you very much. Very insightful as well. Go ahead, Kwabena.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Du and everyone else here. Thanks for the opportunity to make a comment here. So like you have said earlier, Dr. Du, technology is and can be good, but it can also be used for bad. So like we have gun laws, we know that those who don't abide by the laws will use these weapons to abuse others who do abide by the laws. So this technology, as you're saying, we can see how at this point it's being used in the way it's used, just basically as sort of, we're demoing this particular technology. But you can see how those with the power can actually take this technology, they can monopolize it, weaponize it, and use it to their advantage. That's what I basically see with what you just described and gone through, and the questions that were asked, and the things that you demonstrated here, Dr. Du. That's what I see. I know technology, as you said, can be good, but you can see how things like nuclear energy can be used for good. People have taken it, the ones who have the power that can, they monopolize it, weaponize it, and use it to their advantage. So that's the danger I see here in this type of technology. What are your thoughts on that? Can't hear you.
Yes, like you rightly said, depends on who is using it. And I think maybe probably just like how some of the states have started banning it for academic use. I think it will get to the point where we will have to, or like regulators will have to come in and probably streamline the use and the do's and don'ts. Just like how when security or like hacking got to a certain level where people were, breaking into stuff, but then when they were taken to court, they had to like let them go because there were no laws to that said otherwise, right? And you can't charge somebody with the same kind of crime or like the same penalty if that person, physically broke into your house, as opposed to if that person broke into your network and probably, cause some issues, right? So I think for up until now, or until when we will have some regulatory guidance or some regulatory policies with all the AI stuff that is going on, it is really we are all going to be at the mercy of who's using it, right? For the most part. But I think on the defense side, we also have to be vigilant and also to be on top of our game. Frankly, that is my opinion. If anybody also wants to chime in, they can feel free to do so.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah, you're welcome, Carter.
I guess I'll add one more comment to that. So yes, you're right. I mean, when it came to the internet, like having that GPT kind of flooding or putting in a word for Russia, Russia invading for Ukraine, it kind of, somebody used it to kind of, if I should say, endorse the attack, so it can be used, for malicious attack and all that stuff. But it's an endorsement at this point. It's becoming a world issue more or less than, hey, this is a business and I'm trying to make profit out of, just charging subscribers $20 a month. So we should be concerned about it. At the end of the day, it is technology, so we cannot hide from it. It is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to help us. It's going to pose problems. That's why we need more cybersecurity folks. And that's what I have to say right now. Yeah.
Yes, Captain AJ. And for everybody, just like all that we talked about, and also stressing on the point that Jason and Brian was making, I think the best way for you to really benefit from this is to really know how to use it well. And like Brian kept stressing, how to ask the right questions in the right way to get the right results. Because I think the more you know how to use this well, the better results you are going to get. And in terms of what we were talking about, like your content, other AI software being able to detect whether this was an AI content will be really hard if you really know how to use this well, and it gives you really good products, and you also make it your own. I think it will now become just perfect for you. But if you just give it like a general, just like write me a security policy, guess what? Captain Edu is also somewhere doing write me a security policy, and you guys are going to get almost like the same thing, right? Because what I've realized is if you give it like a generalized something, it will give you some inputs. If you regenerate, it will still pick words and like the same keywords from it and rephrase it, right? So even if you ask the question in a different way and it's not really deep, like Brian and I think others were talking about, instead of saying, hey, what is the job of a security professional, right? You can go to the extent of saying, pretend you are a security professional with 30 years of experience working in these different areas of security. What is going to be your advice on this, right? That is going to give you a better answer than if you just ask. So the more you learn how to use it, and all that is also going to come from you practicing and using it more often and playing around with it. That is how you get better at it. Okay, so I think that would be my advice for everybody, kind of summarizing everything that Brian and everybody else said. So Sheila is going to be the last hand raised, and then we are going to wrap it up. Go ahead, Sheila.
Thank you. I also wanted to add a little comment that as we are embarking on being a security professionals, you want to present yourself as a professional that you are. As you are sitting in your home, typing in and searching for AI to help you, or this tool to help you, you should also remember that your director or your supervisor also all know about this. And so that's the reason why everybody is saying this, that it's a tool that you are learning from. You have to use it to learn. Do not just copy everything. Like when somebody give you, when we were little, when you want to copy from somebody, they give you the note and then you copy and copy their name also. Then you look really, really stupid, excuse me to say. So you have to actually be very cautious of what you're doing. It's a tool to help you to learn and also better yourself. But don't think that you can just sit somewhere, just copy anything. You're going to look very unprofessional and embarrass yourself in front of your supervisors, your directors, those of us at work. So that's something that I just wanted to add. Thank you.
Great input, Sheila. Great input. So we are about to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much for all the inputs. And I think we'll be having similar discussions like this because there is a lot of knowledge, worth of knowledge and experience when it comes to AI issues and other topics. So moving forward, there's going to be Cyber Chat next week also as well. Our PCI class is starting. The new cohort is starting on Monday, 27th. Now I'm tracking the deferred income payment and the income sharing. The links are not ready yet because we're going back and forth with our service providers on the terms in terms of how long you have to do the payback. And we were looking for like a longer period for our folks. That way it's easy on everybody. And we were going back and forth, but now we've been able to, come to an agreement and terms. So they promised latest by Monday, we will have the links, and the application takes only like 3 minutes. So if you're still looking to use that to get into the program, don't worry. Even after Monday, you'll still be able to do that. So, and also if you are looking to get into it and make like payments yourself, make like your own out of pocket, we have up to 7 to 8 months installment payments that you can also make for either of the programs. And also, if you are on here, this is the first time you've not taken any of our free training, like the PCI for beginners and also cybersecurity for beginners, please do take a look at it on our website, eretmisacademy.com. Somebody's asking for the link. If you can post it in there for me, Captain AJ. So on our website, you'll be able to see all our free courses. Please do take those. And also on our YouTube channel, there's a lot of really good info on there. All these cyber chats that we've had previously, they are all posted on our YouTube channel as well. So it's a whole catalog of knowledge that you can benefit from. So if you are new, please do take a look at it and then also visit our website. If you have any questions, any issues, if you want to get into the industry and you need some insights, you can always reach out. Captain AJ posted the numbers and the emails on there. We are ready to help talk to you, point you in the right direction. We are not here just necessarily for you to buy or patronize any of our courses. Like I tell everybody, we really care less. We just want you to be the best security professional that you can ever be, right? And if that is all that we can do, that is really good for us. But if you want the best training in security, then we think we are the best out there. So we will give you the guidance that you need and point you in the right direction and give you that support base, which is the most important, right? After getting the job, we're still going to be there giving you that support base. And most people on here who are working can attest to that, right? So I appreciate everybody's time. Captain AJ, if you have any inputs, you can bring it up before we wrap it up. So if not, so Captain AJ.
I would like to say something little. So I'm really intrigued and I'm excited. So all I want to say is, folks, keep reading, keep learning, and don't sell yourself short of any knowledge. All right. I'm really happy about this discussion with all the contributions. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone.
All right, everyone. We appreciate everybody's time. And also, please do share, if you're on here, please do share the links for like the YouTube recording for this session with friends and family who might be interested. We appreciate your time. We will see you again next week, Friday. And everybody else in any of our classes, we will see you during the week. Internship people, there is internship tomorrow morning at 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Eastern. But for everybody else, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll meet again next weekend, God willing. Next Friday, God willing. So we'll see you around, and you know where to find us if you need any help or assistance. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.